Hey, Ben was due on the lake. Everybody doing today? This is the last day of the year. This is Friday. So here's a real simple project that I wanted to do. It took an hour and a half to do it. It's a Pinecone gnome. And you'll see that he has turned out a little bit differently than I originally planned on doing him. In addition to that, a couple things coming up that I owe you here. I've been pretty busy with the commissions, and Christmas, of course, keeps us all busy. What I thought I'd get this video out. I did it last week. I only had one day to carve last week between work and doing various different things, and Christmas coming up. So this guy came up. I owe you the first of the month, the old carver, the review, and that sort of thing, and my recommended carvers. I started with a piece of scrap. I was just, like I said, I was out, had very little time to carve, and it was pretty rough. And the intent was to make a hat on this guy with feet sticking out, and then do pine cone type leaves around a face, and really no body per se, but kind of embedment of pine cone. So as I drew this in, the nose is drawn in a little bit lower. It's going to be one of those a little bit flatter nose with nostrils on the side, as opposed to the gnomes that we've been doing in the Gnomegeddon stuff, which has the hat down and the nose barely sticking out. So we've got a Kutzall burr in there. It's a medium flame, and I'm just reliefing the hat. I'm going to relief around the nose and that sort of stuff, and then that's where everything goes wrong, and I end up changing this guy. So he's a concept piece, and I like the way he turned out, and I'm going to do several more of them as the time goes on forward here. But right here, I'm just kind of putting the hat in, and you'll see as this develops that the hat completely goes away. So something that I've been doing here, I introduced, I think there's 4 or 5 videos with the watercolor. I wanted to put back in the watercolor on Studio on the Lake. That was well received by a lot of folks. And I went ahead and broke that out and put another channel up. And that channel is Watercolor Studio on the Lake. So it's very similar. I have a link down below in the description. Right now it seems to have 3 subscribers. I put it up last week, and I haven't really done anything with it since then, as I've been perfecting my lighting for the videos. I got in some new lighting equipment, which will go around my drafting table and make those clear and easier to do. So anyway, the link is down there if you want to support the channel. If you like those, I'd like to get it up over 1,000 here in the next several months. And then at that point, YouTube will start promoting it, and it'll be able to be found in the searches, and it's kind of supplements this channel. I'm still going to put little shorts of the watercolors on this channel. But if you want to see the whole Megillah, the tutorial and the descriptions and the whole 9 yards, I've dedicated that complete channel to teaching and demonstrating watercolor. So this guy, I'm doing his face right now, and he's just going to have simple cartoon eyes, but you can see his nose is a little bit flatter, left to right. He's got some nostrils there, and then you see his feet, and if you look at his feet right there, I've got them canted off to the side. That's going to become immaterial here in a few minutes, and you'll get to see that. But like I was saying, one of the things I'd like to say is here's the last 2 cards that I did, the Christmas cards. And go over and click that link down below. If you search it, it's hard to search because there's not enough stuff going on. But click that link down below, and if you're so inclined, give me a little support. It doesn't cost anything for you to subscribe to those, and it certainly will help that channel out and get it going. So I looked at this, and as you can see, I did not cut that foot where I drew it because it was off center from where I decided to put the face. The intent was to have 2 feet, just rounded, nothing special going on, sticking out of the leaves in the pine cone. And I got this part done, and I was on track for what I had in my brain. And every first carving is kind of a concept carving. So now I didn't intend to put a beard in here, and originally or later. And now I'm kind of contouring away from the face, and I'm looking at this guy, and then I'm starting to contour down to the feet. And I really couldn't see where the pine cone leaves were going to fit in and work in the way I had this in my head. So you can see here I've skipped ahead and I actually carved the bottom of that off. I took it off on the feet and took the feet off and turned it more of into a pine cone. And now I've got a new plan. I'm going to leave the feet off, carve the shape of a pine cone, and I'm putting those in. They're just like scales. If you're drawing scales on a fish, they're just like feathers on a bird. And if you've ever looked at a pine cone, you know that they're back in there. So I got up to the hat. I was not sure if I was going to leave the hat or not. Then I decided that that wasn't going to happen. So that's in my Oz 2 Plus handpiece, and I'm taking the hat off, taking the lines off the hat. And that green burr that you saw in there is a saber-tooth burr, and that's a medium. I think they call it an extended flame. Now I'm continuing the pine cone leaves going up. Where do you get a reference for a pine cone? Well, it's obvious you go out and grab a pine cone if you live in pine cone country. If not, you might have to buy one. So there's that saber burr. This is an older one. And the green, they come in different colors, where Cuts-Alls come in regulars, fine, coarse, and extreme. This one would probably be along the coarse lines because they start off with white, which is a finer cut. And then they go to a yellow, which is fine. I think white is extra fine, yellow is fine, green is a normal, and then there is actually a red that they make in some of the burrs, and that would equal a Cuts-All extreme. So you can see that I'm just putting those pine cone leaves, or flakes, I don't know what you'd even call them, where it opens up on a pine cone. And I'm just rough cutting those in, and I'll continue that up through the whole pine cone and end up with something like that. You can see his nose is still as proud in the middle there. His eyes are above that, and that's all the face that I'm going to do in that. So there's the pine cone leaves rough cut. This is a piece of basswood. I didn't mention that. Now I've got a saber, or I just lied to you. It's not a saber. That's a Cuts-All round burr, and I'm contouring each of those little leaves, and you can see I'm leaving a center vein going up, because on a pine cone, a lot of them have a center vein on it, and then it'll even have a little hook towards the end where the seed is stuffed down into it. So there he is, roughly carved with the scales. And it turned out to be quite a bit more detailed than I had planned on doing on it. So I come back with the wood burner. That is a spade bit. There's 2 burner pins on my Ultima dual burner from PGL Enterprises, and this is the one that I use to do the heavy duty, and then I use another one, a little spear point. This is not your standard wood burner. This is a professional pyrographic wood burner. I use it to do stop cuts and then undercuts, and in this case I'm doing an undercut thing. So you can see there, I think I've switched. I can't see the tip of that thing. Nope, I'm still using the big spade. But the burner I like to use has 2 pins on it, and that way I don't have to change the pin tip. And if you'd like to find you're new to the channel and you want to find a review of that burner, just go back through my videos on the Studio on the Lake portion, and that will give you a real nice description of that and where they come from. So I've got the face, and I've got him kind of hidden in there, and I have changed. I've got the little spear. It's called a 10S spear, and there's more of a detail pin. And I'm just burning around where I've rough shaped the eyes. You can see the nose has nostrils left and right, as opposed to just one big round nose. And hopefully that's all making sense. It's going to be a relatively short video based on from most of my videos. And obviously this will be the last one of 2021. So the year went by pretty quick. I want to thank everybody that, all the people that are subscribed and the viewers that watch the channel. It's great fun to do these. I wish I had a little bit more time. I have to retire to do that. I plan on doing that in the next year or two. Now I've got a ruby bit in there, and it is in the Oz 2 again. And it's a 3/32, and I'm just doing the fine detail work and cleaning those up a little bit. Then I will come back and do some deeper burning. And you can see that I'm cutting pretty deep on these because these pine cones, the seeds go down in there where I'm cutting that. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to shade pretty deep, starting at the base of each of those leaves and come around. So there's a jump ahead because you don't need to see all the good stuff in there. But you saw how I got to where I was going. You can see his nose in that right there starting to come around, and then he's got little cartoon eyes. So there, he's all burned. I'm completely happy with where he's at. He's finished. I'm going to take that wire brush and I'm going to brush some of the carbon off of that. And then this guy is going to get just a simple wax coating on it. So there he is with a wax coating, and that's just regular furniture grade paste wax with a little bit of a tint in it. And I ran probably 2 coats on there and then buffed him out. And he is a concept piece. And I will do some more like this. I kind of like the way it turned out. A lot of folks seem to like pine cones. I always talk about signing your work, so do sign your work. It may be valuable someday. And then if you get a chance, since we're coming up to the end of this, go over, check that link out down there in the description. Should be the first link. And if you support the other channel, the new Watercolor Channel, we get that up and running. Hey, thanks a lot. I hope everybody has a happy new year. Hope your Christmas was good. And this has been Bandwidth Studio on the Lake.